Here we go. Hey everyone, welcome to Getting Real about real estate investing. I'm Nadine Alicia, and I'm here today to talk to two other dynamic women in our community. We have Rosanna Frere and Michelle Gomez. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi. Hi.
Hi. Thanks for
Hi.
having me.
Yes.
Oh,
Thank you.
awesome, awesome. I'm glad to have you both here. So, I just want to start out real quick. If you just want to give a quick introduction about yourself.
Sure. My name is Michelle Gomez. I'm a member of Gator Lending and Sub 2, Pace Morby's community. Been in real estate for 6 years now. I'm currently working full time in investing and enjoying every minute of it.
Awesome, awesome. How about you, Rosanna?
Hi, I'm Rosanna Friday. I'm actually a pediatric nurse. I'm a newbie to Gator Method, and yes, I'm learning as I go. But happy to be here.
Thank you. We're happy to have you here. So I wanted to invite you both to the podcast because we were talking amongst ourselves previously on both of your own and recordings, and we're talking about women in real estate, single women specifically, and how that challenges us a little differently than those who are either male or partnered or whatever it is. So um, let's go back a little bit. When did you get involved in real estate investing, Rosanna?
So I guess I could say that I became interested in real estate investing when I purchased my own home. This is a new home for me. It was a process. It took me about a year with this other program, and that program showed me a lot. I was not aware of what purchasing a home consisted of,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
But I was happy and excited and ready to have my own place. And I had connected with a realtor, and he's amazing. But he showed me a lot, and so I was intrigued. But then I was so like still also doing my nursing career, and not to say that I'm not happy with it. It's just that as a single mother, right? And now with all these other things that you have, like you need to provide for your family and
Right.
other expenses. um I also wanted another form of income, right? It's
Yeah,
not
sure.
uh it's better to have other incomes coming in. um and I was trying to find a way where it doesn't require much of your time as well, because I'm already full time in the clinic. And so I was just like going through YouTube channels, and then I found Pace, and I became interested, and so now I'm here.
Awesome. And how about you, Michelle? When did you get started?
Well, I got started I worked for a big hedge fund about 3 years ago. And so I learned the ins and outs of acquiring rental properties for large institutions. And
Hmm.
so I got started on my own about a year ago, learning. And then I ended up leaving my hedge fund job about 3 months ago, so that I was able to focus on real estate investing full time, because it removes the conflict of interest, me leaving my and larger investor job. And then so essentially I just been off to the races since that time, just kind of working full time, as if I'm working a regular 9 to 5 job, but it's all
Right.
real estate investing. And so
And
I've
all for
learned,
yourself.
y'all, for myself. It's so
That's key.
uh, we've learned so much, and now I'm working on starting my own team and a bunch of deals in the pipeline. So it's been amazing.
And you said something earlier on one of our other gatherings that it's not even just about how long you've been doing as opposed to how much you've been doing. So don't sell yourself short, Michelle. Let them know how much you do. You've been
Oh,
doing a lot of deals.
well, yeah. So the deals, a lot of the deals that I did was with the hedge fund. So I did, let's see, I did about 1,200. We closed 1,200 sales, and that
Wow.
was that where I closed. I personally closed 1,200 sales. My company closed probably more like 15,000 sales.
That's
So
Wow.
crazy.
yeah, so I estimate that I earned through those 1,200 sales, I earned $14.4 million for my company in
Oh,
commission.
Wow.
that's
And
nice.
That
so
is
it was
amazing.
just to be able to, take part in that and see, I don't know, just the power of rental properties and owning the rental properties and the income that it can bring back to the investors that I was working with really made, open my eyes. And like we were saying, it's not about the time in, because that was only 3 years I did the 1,200 closings. It's about the quality of the time in. So if you
Yeah.
can get in there and just, I call it go beast mode. If you can go,
More than that, you're an absolute rock star.
Yes.
Absolute rock star.
well, thank
So
you.
here's a question I like to ask, and we've been on the phone with each other for a couple hours now, so I'm not going to belabor things that we've already done. But there's a question I like to ask everyone that comes on this podcast because it's just interesting to me. Rosanna, tell me, what's a typical day in the life for you like? Whether it's the real estate stuff or just for people who are looking to get to where you are, let them know what it's like to be you. What's the life, a day in a life like for you?
Oh gosh. Okay. So, you know, I like to get up as early as 5 in the morning because I also I like to lift. I lift weights. And I
Okay.
guess that's how I find how to relieve some stress, right? The
Hmm.
routine on in everything. It's part of my routine. So I get up, get going, drop off my kiddo at school, then I head out to work. It could be long hours. And what I do mostly at my current job is I do a lot of phone triage.
Hmm.
So I'm not afraid of phone calls either. That's the majority of my time, spent there. And so you could say it's one problem and one solution after another, right?
Hmm.
Throughout the entire day. I don't have an exit time either, so I could be off as early as 5, 6, 7. I could be as late as 8. And
Wow.
I know, and the pandemic made it a little bit, tougher on nurses. And
Yeah.
so, but no, I work at a community. I'm a community nurse, and I really enjoy what I do. But again, I need to find other forms of income because like I said, I'm a single mother that provides for my daughter, my mother, and I. And
Hmm.
so yeah, that's basically my day. And then I come back home and then I, watch the videos that I are part of my training. And so it's now it's more of like, you know, work and train, work and watch the
Yeah.
videos.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I know that I'll have a positive result out of all of this.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yes.
And
Yes.
how about you, Michelle? What's your day look like?
So, well, it's similar to where I exercise in the morning. I don't get up quite that early. I'm out. I exercise at around 7 o'clock, from 7 to 8. So I do walk jogging in the morning, and then I'm at my desk by the latest 9:30, and I lead Jen from 9:30 till 2 most days. Um, and so around 5 hours a day. So that would be, I have a whole list of items that I'm working on, and I go in order. And then, of course, if I have things on my calendar during that time, I will attend an appointment or what have you. But I try to focus that time on lead gen only so that
Okay.
I'm not distracted. And then after 2 o'clock is when I normally try to schedule my appointments, and then any other follow up work. So I have contracts to do, I do those. I will do like any research, comping, underwriting, um, anything else like that, phone call, like just regular phone calls that I need to make. And then after 6, it's usually any kind of Zooms, that pace Zooms, or I try to do that, but sometimes I do the Zooms during the day if that's the only time that I can do them if they're important. But generally, I work from around 9:30 to 7:30 every day, 6 days
Okay.
a week.
So
Okay.
very structured day.
Yeah, very structured. Saturday's not as structured. I work about 5 hours on Saturday, and I try to take Sunday off because I do feel as though it's definitely important, if you can, to get that rest R&R.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to get burnout. I got burnout at my last job, and that's not fun
Right.
to do. So.
Not at all. It sounds like a very regimented, strict schedule, and that's good. I mean, it's probably the key to your success. No
Yes,
doubt.
I feel so far. I feel it is definitely. I mean, key to at least keeping things under control and moving smoothly.
That's awesome. I know that we are all in different spaces in our real estate journey. But do any of you have any funny or interesting stories that you have encountered along the way?
No, not yet. I
Like,
once
it's coming.
yeah, maybe like I said, once I connect with other people, then most likely I'll have something to say.
Hmm.
How about you, Michelle?
Well, I'm trying to think. It's kind of funny, but it's tragic and at the same time. So it's no one got hurt.
That's
So that's good. But
a good place to start.
yeah, okay, I'll make it quick. So working at the hedge fund, obviously did 1,200, I did 1,200 closings, the 1,800 under contract approximately. And with those, of course, it's real estate. As you'll get involved in it more, you'll understand that it's kind of a highly emotional business, and it's highly, it can be stressful when you're depending on contractors to show up for jobs or inspections, and they don't show up, and you're under contract deadlines, you lose money, all this. And so I was juggling all of those transactions, and then we have TCs that are, not trained, and so I have to redo their contracts, things like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we were hustling and bustling one day, and all of a sudden my system got stuck, and I had put this property under contract, but our system was not putting it into the proper status because, of course, we have to have an assembly line going with these deals because there's so many of them. And I'm not the only one. There's other agents that were doing this volume of business also. And so anyway, so it was stuck in what you call due diligence. So that means that we're doing the inspections. Not stuck in stuck in bid acknowledge, so that we acknowledge that the contract was received. Well, I wanted them to push it into due diligence because we were in the inspection period. So I needed the status to change. So I asked tech support to change it. They changed it not to due diligence, but to post due diligence. So what that told the system, it's okay to close on this deal.
Right. It took away some of their time.
So
or
we
sped things up, so to speak.
Sped things up. So we didn't get to do an inspection. So it basically just, we're buying this house. So we bought the house on accident.
No matter what. Did it turn out to be a good deal anyway?
No, because once we got in there, we realized that we'd already looked at this house and we decided we didn't want it because it was in bad shape.
Wow.
So it was on our do not buy list. So we bought a house that was like destroyed and we paid top dollar for it. Anyway.
Somebody's happy. You made somebody happy.
Yeah, right. But fast forward a couple months later and I get it, my phone starts ringing and it rang 10 times in a row. I'm not kidding you. And I was on another call on my system, so I couldn't answer it. And so I had to block the number because it was calling me so many times. So I checked the voicemail and this lady was yelling and she said, "You tore down my house. You tore down my house on you." And she was like, I'm like, "What's going on?" So I looked at the email that she sent and she said that we accidentally tore down her house instead of the one that we meant to tear down.
Oh
and
my goodness.
I know. And so I was like, oh my gosh. So I looked into it. And what I found out later is that when the house that we accidentally purchased, had another house on the property, which looked like a garage. But what it was it was that the seller had partitioned a part of the land with another house on it and
Mm-hmm.
sold it to the neighbor. So that was the neighbor's house, and they had recently just turned it into an Airbnb, and it was
Oh
all
my
decked out.
gosh.
They put $600,000 into the project with remodeling and all that stuff, and just decked out the backyard, everything. And so jacuzzi, all that stuff. And so they ended up suing us for that house. And so I'm not sure what ended up happening. I left after that, but that's those kind of things can happen in real estate. That
Oh
was
my
Wow.
Most things
gosh.
won't happen every day.
That's a big thing.
That's a big thing, but
That's a very, very big thing. Oh
yeah,
my
so that was
goodness.
it wasn't funny, but I'm hoping that they got their money back and they're laughing about it now and no one got hurt.
Oh,
But
Yeah. Wow,
yes,
that's
yes,
amazing. All right.
yes.
Rosanna, do you have a specific niche in real estate investing that you're interested in?
I guess it would be buy and hold. Buy and
Okay.
hold. That's something that I would probably be interested in. Um, yeah, I think more than anything that. But I know it's a learning process, so I can't wait to get to that point.
And where do you
Yeah.
want to buy and hold? Do you have specific locations or just anywhere? Like, what would your criteria be?
I guess it would be more, I think I would be comfortable in, well, I know that there's hurricanes, but near the beach,
No, okay.
areas like that. Same here in Austin. I'm in Austin, Texas. And so I think Austin is growing and growing still a lot. Um, but yeah, I think those would be the two favorite locations for me. Yeah.
How about you, Michelle? What's your niche?
so right now, I'd have to say my niche in prospecting is direct to agent. So I work with agents and develop relationships and hope in the hopes that we can work together on properties that they find off market deals. And then right now, I'm kind of getting into land acquisitions. There are ways that you can, if you find the right property, there are ways that you can research what you can do with those properties. For instance, you can subdivide them. You can do many different things. Put RV parks on them, or what have you. Or there may be a new road running through there. So anyway, you just package it up and sell it to end buyers, and it's wholesaling, basically wholesaling land.
Hmm.
Your job as a wholesaler is to make it the most attractive possible to potential buyers, and you can make a lot of money in those cases. Sometimes the spread can be $500,000.
So, are
So
you doing any of the developing before you sell it out, or are you just selling it out raw?
no, it would just be selling it out raw. So I
Okay.
find deals like, let's say, for instance, there's a seller that lists with a normal real estate agent that doesn't specialize in land. And that agent doesn't really know how to market the land, but they just list it. So I find experts that know how to know if that land is valuable or not. So they analyze it. They're like, okay, well, we can subdivide it in this way. It's zoned this way, so we can do this with it, commercial, blah blah blah. And then we put together a whole like slide, like PowerPoint presentation to sell it to an end buyer. So maybe somebody moved from a different country wants to invest in land, and so we're doing a lot of work as the wholesaler, and then we just get that spread. It's like a wholesale fee, an assignment fee for doing that work, if that makes sense. So we don't develop it; we just find properties that are not marketed correctly, and then we find ways to market them and to show the value of the land to buyers.
That's amazing. That's a good niche because I don't think that's a field that's very saturated because I don't hear a
Yeah.
lot about it. So
Yeah,
you're on to something.
Yes.
hopefully.
Yes.
All right. Well, previously we all got together, and I think we got together because we were talking about being a single woman in real estate investing and how those challenges present themselves. So I'm going to ask you guys just to reiterate what you said here, and then I'm going to add on my own personal question to that. So go ahead, Rosanna, and let us know what your specific concerns or challenges have been being a single woman investor in this space.
Right. So for me, that would be again, I guess feeling secure of, the move that I'm about to take as a single,
Yeah,
parent and no other form of income. Um, I just need to know that my next move, it's something that there's future, right? There's,
hmm,
something that I would be able to, rely on. It's not, and so that's probably my most struggle now, right?
yeah,
That I feel that I get might be stuck or that I won't advance.
yeah.
And so that those are my struggles as a single woman in this industry.
All right. How about you, Michelle?
I'd have to say, so I've always been a calculated risk taker.
Hmm.
So I'd have to say the same as far as not having the um, someone to depend on to help me if times get rough. So I'm just right now depending on my ability to conserve my liquid capital and to maybe make more in the future or to, like execute a disaster plan if I had to sell my house on a wrap. Let's say I couldn't find it. I had to go back to work, but I can't find another W-2 and I've exhausted all my funds. Then I plan, this is an example, I plan to sell my house to someone who cannot otherwise get traditional lending on a
Okay.
wrap. So in that
Right.
case, you get $30,000 down payment, and then I just move on to my next destination. But I always give myself a little buffer in
Yeah.
there.
Right.
It wouldn't be right to the month. Oh, I can't pay my bills next month. So
Yeah.
I try to do it that way, and like I guess calculated risks, but
Right.
you struggle because it's still you're like anxiety's hitting you. It's like okay,
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
goes through
That,
the way it's supposed to. But
that makes sense, and I totally resonate with all of that. Being a single woman in this space as well. And my last official question for you guys, and the way I kind of gear my podcast is talking to people, and I don't know what your backgrounds are, but if it applies, it applies. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I like talking to people of color or people from other ethnic backgrounds who may have, again, unique challenges in this space. So historically, anything to do with finance and money has always been a kind of good old boys network, and breaking into that, it's different if you don't fit that mold. Even in traditional finance spaces, you think of the young white male stockbroker on Wall Street. That's what people think of. That's what the image generates. That's what people trust. So now you're coming in as a woman. You may be coming in with a different type of last name or a different ethnic background or an immigrant status. And now, not only do you have to feel trusted and
Right.
respected as who you are and what you know, but you also have to interact in this space that didn't always welcome us. And
True.
sometimes that presents its own level of challenges, or in spaces where people are coming from generations of wealth, right? They say, oh, I needed a private money loan for a deal. I just asked my granddad. He gave me $200,000 and I'll pay him back later. We don't all
Oh,
come from that. We don't all have
right.
access to that. And so how's that played a role for you, or even having imposter syndrome, just not thinking you know enough because you're in a room with people that don't look like you and you
mhm.
just assume they have more than you do. So either of you can speak to that if it applies.
Well, I guess I can speak with that as far as the having a different last name. I have experienced some discrimination based upon that. In the past of various things, but as far as in the real estate space, most of the discrimination that I've experienced is because being a woman.
Yeah.
And I'd have to say because it is a good old boys network in real
Mhm.
estate. I
Yeah.
worked for a hedge fund, which is a Wall Street firm.
Right.
It was a top 5 hedge fund, so one of the top 5 in the country. and they are all young men,
Mm-hmm.
and most of them, I mean, they like to hire young men out of
Yeah.
college. And so there were maybe out of like 28, there were maybe 5 women, and we got in because we knew someone, you know.
Right.
Like I knew the VP's girlfriend, and so
Wow.
that's how I got in. And so, but it was, I just, sometimes I feel like they made a concerted effort to sometimes to not be a good boys club, but they did have their own softball teams. They no women
Mm-hmm.
allowed.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
Also, it's like they wouldn't listen. I felt like they didn't listen to my views as much.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, I guess the term would be gaslighting in some
Yeah.
cases. I felt that like I was talking to a wall, and so, or they their back is turned to you while they're talking amongst themselves, and you're kind of standing off to the side trying to
Yeah.
get.
You're like, I'm here.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and it's, some people could say, well, maybe it's in my head, but no, other people, other women that I've talked to felt the same way. So, but
Yeah.
I just try to persevere and make friends and just do the best that I can with um, what I can and exert myself anyway.
Yeah.
So I will put a post out there, or I will tell my boss, give him an outline. May not respond to me, or even take it seriously, but I'm going to give him a whole like presentation on what I think the best course of action is for this particular
Mhm.
scenario. And he ended up turning me into a team leader of the organization after he laid most of the department off. So it
Wow.
ended up working.
See, look at that.
Yeah, it ended up working on the side, behind the scenes. He didn't
Mhm.
tell me what he was doing; he just did it. So, but anyway, but it is. I have to agree that it's difficult to break into, even in sub two.
Yeah.
It's not so bad. It's not really that bad. However, I feel like it's just ingrained in society for some men not to take women seriously.
Yeah. How about you, Rosanna? Any of that challenges?
Um, well, not so much like I said in real estate. I'm just beginning, but I could relate that in other areas, and it
Mm-hmm.
is true. Being a woman, um, they want to, you know, you know, uh, not think less of you or any of that, but um, your advice or what you have to say, at times it could be or felt like minimized, and
Okay.
then you know it's like you said, Michelle, it's still speaking up, standing tall,
Yeah.
and allowing yourself, and others to see you, and still be you, right? And
Yeah.
if we're not gonna carry ourselves of, you know what if you know what if he didn't like this, or whatever it may be. But you just gotta, pursue your dreams, present yourself well, and just go for it.
I like that.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
I like it.
All right. Well, this is the time in the podcast where I just want to allow you to say anything that you want to say, anything you want to promote, anything you want our viewers to know about you. And certainly, I'm going to ask you both to send me your contact links so that they know how to find you, whether on
Yes.
Instagram or YouTube or wherever you want to reach out. And this is your time. Promote yourself. It's all about you. Michelle, how can we help you? How can you help us? And where can we find you?
Okay, well, I right now I'm not promoting myself too much,
Okay.
other than on Facebook. I'm trying to just do a collection of, like I was saying before, previous interview about just trying to compile some real estate market research, because I feel that there's a real gap for people on who to listen to,
Mhm.
who should they get their information from? Is the sky falling? Is it not falling? How do I
Right.
know it's not falling?
Yeah.
Who's telling me the truth? So if I can send you my Facebook link,
Okay.
and then so how you can help me is maybe just like my Facebook posts, if you do like them, if they were
Okay.
helpful for you. And how I can help you is hopefully by providing some value on that page. And then I would love if you have any deals that you need help with. I'd love to JV with you. Just let me know how I can help you get a deal under contract or negotiate a deal, whatever you need. And then private money lending, I know Rosanna does that. I also have resources that can help you with that. I've been connecting with a lot of bigger whale, private money lenders.
Oh, nice.
Just let me know, and I'll put a good word for you. It's all about relationship building. So
Always, always.
That is
Awesome.
so
Thanks
true.
so much. We're going to post your information down below so that anyone can reach out and get you. And how about you,
great.
Rosanna?
So here I am completing my landing page with
Okay.
Alpha Gator, and I'm also finishing my page, which would be hustleatx.com. So
Okay.
be on the lookout for that. And yes,
Mhm.
that's probably the best way to reach out to me. Also in Facebook, you might not see much of me. I'm gonna start introducing more of myself there, but also through Facebook.
Okay, great. Well, ladies, we have been doing this for a couple hours now,
Yes.
throughout different channels, and I want to thank you both for coming on my podcast today. I will send you the recordings, and feel free to use it and spread it and promote yourselves. And
Yes.
I will take your information and put it in the show notes so that our viewers can reach out to you. Thank
Yes,
you
ma'am.
so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Thank
Nadine.
you for having us. Yes,
All
thank
righty.
you.
Thank you. Bye
Take
bye.
care.
Bye.
Have
Bye.
a good day. All right. We did it.
Well,
Yes.
you're like a pro.